Hi guys, in today's unboxing, we'll be experiencing two firsts in my channel. That is my first order from Ami Japan, as well as my first pre-owned figure. While I've ordered online from hobby shops in Japan before, this is my first from Ami. Also until now, I've always hesitated from dipping my toes into the pre-owned market for fear of being burned by subpar quality pre-painted scale or price figures. What persuaded me to finally give it a try was Ami's comprehensive ranking system for the condition of the package as well as the item or product itself. So what I'm unboxing here is an item that's been rated A for the item and B for the condition of the box package. It's one of my grail price figures I've been looking for a long time, which was a key factor in me taking a plunge on pre-owned figures. Ami is known for including these thank you postcards together with the items they ship out, and it has pretty decent art on it. It's kind of a collectible if you are into such things. Let me remove the packing paper and reveal to you my first pre-owned grail figure purchase, which is the C prize figure of Beatrice from the ReZero Story to be Continued Ichiban Kuji. Based on my experience so far, it's rare to find a pre-painted or scale figure of Beatrice in her iconic pink gothic lolita outfit, and equally difficult to find her in the aftermarket. So I was delighted to find Beatrice in the pre-owned section of Ami's site. It's not that ReZero characters aren't popular subject matters for pre-painted figure manufacturers. They are. You just have to look at the insane amounts of RAM figures out in the market today to realize that. Just for some reason, Beatrice isn't that high up in the manufacturer's priority list. As price figures go, Ichiban Kuji pre-painted figures generally, though not always, are of better quality in terms of paint job and sculpt complexity than your average budget-friendly variety. And while prices of Ichiban Kuji figures can sometimes exceed mid-tier ones due to its rarity, thankfully it wasn't the case here. I snagged Beatrice for nearly 5,000 yen, which is higher than your average price figure, about roughly what you would pay for pre-painted mid-tier figures such as Good Smile Company's Pop-Up Parade or Furyu's Tenitol series. Excluding the ReZero Story to be Continued Ichiban Kuji C price figure you see here, there are three other figures of Beatrice in her pink gothic lolita outfit that I know of. That is the painted scale figures from Kadokawa and Furyu, and the Nendoroid from Good Smile Company. This Ichiban Kuji version is the only prize figure of Beatrice in her gothic lolita dress that I'm aware of. Life in a Different World from Zero is just another way the anime series ReZero Starting Life in Another World is called. As you can see here, Beatrice is visible via a clear plastic sheet, thus negating the need for any box art of the figure itself. There are, however, diamond-shaped designs in purple and pink that serve as the primary box art for the figure. Aside from the front clear window, there is another diamond-shaped window on the top of the box which allows a top-down view of Beatrice, albeit a fairly restricted one. At the very least, it allows light into the box, thus improving the view from the front window. I'm just going to open up the box and take a proper look at Beatrice herself. Based on Ami's condition ranking of A for the figure, it means that while the item is pre-owned, the box has not been opened yet. I guess the conventional term for this is MISB or mint in seal box. So based on this, disregarding any quality control issues, I'm expecting Beatrice to be in mint condition. Beatrice, like most Ichiban Kuji prize figures I collected, comes sandwiched safely between two sturdy plastic blisters, and if you look closely, covered in protective plastic wrappings. As I remove Beatrice from her protective blisters and wrappings, I suppose some backstory is in order so that you'll have an idea of who she is in the world of ReZero. In a nutshell, Beatrice is a 400-year-old artificial spirit who was created by the Witch of Re and told to become the caretaker of the Forbidden Library and await a person who would grant her salvation. It all sounds utterly confusing unless you watch the ReZero anime, which I highly recommend, by the way, if you are into isekais. Anyway, Beatrice has been freed from her protective blisters and wrappings. This Ichiban Kuji figure comes with its own base, which in Beatrice's case is a clear round base with some pink line designs on its circumference. Let me just set aside all the protective plastic that had been encasing Beatrice and her base before giving her a once-over, which I'm going to do now. So before I place Beatrice onto the display base, let's first get a close-up look at the details inherent on this Ichiban Kuji Prize figure. Beatrice comes fully assembled in one complete piece without the need for any assembly, and we are off to an excellent start with Bandai scoring 10 out of 10 for likeness. She looks exactly like her anime version. Details-wise, there's so much going on in a good way that I don't know where to begin. Her hair is beautifully sculpted and suitably accessorized with her iconic pink ribbon bows and a miniature red gold crown. And then there's that highly detailed book she's reading, which has pictures and realistic looking albeit illegible text. Meanwhile, Beatrice's iconic gothic lolita dress has been faithfully recreated in terms of both a superb paint job and excellent sculpted details. The color scheme is spot on, and the paint was fairly cleanly applied onto different sections of her dress, though imperfectly in areas such as her stockings and hair. Paint shading was applied onto her dress, hair, and in the form of a blush on her cheeks. Apart from the colors, while varied, did not differ in terms of tint, shade, or tone. All in all, you can color me impressed with this Beatrice Ichiban Kuji Prize figure. So that was Beatrice seen in a close-up view. Now let's have a look at the base in detail. It's a thin clear round base with pink colored designs on the circumference. It has 3 pegs onto which her feet will slot into. Speaking of which, let's go ahead and attach Beatrice to the base now. I'm not going to bore you with a running commentary of the assembly process, which is a simple pack and hold type connection. So I'll just fast forward to the end and take it from there. So that's the Bandai ReZero story to be continued Ichiban Kuji Prize figure of Beatrice attached to her base. We can now proceed to the full 360-degree view of her. This Ichiban Kuji Prize figure of Beatrice is a near-perfect recreation of the character in her iconic gothic lolita dress, which has a color scheme comprising white, purple, violet, and different shades of pink. Here, Beatrice is adopting a straightforward standing pose, one hand on her hips while the other holds up an open book. Her ornate dress is decorated with white and light pink frills and an exposed front which shows off her legs, which are covered by tights with pink and purple stripes. Aside from the white frills and trimmings on her dress, also adorning her dress are 2 medium-sized ribbon bows on the bottom hem of her dress, a larger, more elaborate ribbon bow on the left side of her waist, and a tiny string-like ribbon bow on the neck collar. While Beatrice isn't very large, standing at slightly above 16 centimeters as measured from the bottom of her feet to the top of her tiny crown, she nonetheless exudes considerable shelf presence via her beautiful and highly detailed dress and accessories. In terms of scale, if I were to hazard a guess, I would say that this Beatrice Ichiban Kuji figure is about 1/10 scale or larger, but it's a very rough estimate based on a comparison that I made off-camera to a figure from the Good Smile Company's Pop-Up Parade series, which are known to be in and around the said size. Overall, the paint job on Beatrice is clean and beautiful, with the exception of 2 areas, that is the ends of her curled pigtails and the striped tights on her legs. In this top-down view of Beatrice, my main goal was to provide a clearer view of the open book that she is holding up with her left hand. But it has the added advantage of providing a close-up look at her face, head, hair, and its accessories. The pages on the book are filled with illustrations of cats and illegible text that would not look out of place in Tolkien's Middle-earth. This is an excellent piece of detail that elevates the figure to a higher level. Her hair, while beautifully sculpted, has some issues with its paint job. Based on my observations, I believe yellow paint was painted over a clear part for the majority of the hair, while clear pink paint was painted over the tips of her pigtails. The paint job issue arises in the transition between the solid yellow and clear pink colors on the pigtails. The yellow paint does not transition smoothly, but instead looks powdery. But that does not distract from the fact that Beatrice's hair looks great, helped by wonderfully sculpted details like the ribbon bows on her pigtails and the tiny metallic red and gold crown on her head. Apart from Beatrice's hair and its accessories, this Ichiban Kuji figure of her has impressive facial details and expression, like the butterfly-shaped irises on her blue eyes to the haughty look on her face. Needless to say, the likeness of this prize figure to the anime character it's based on is near perfect, and part of what makes this version of Beatrice so good. That book she's holding has extraordinary details, as I've already established earlier, and this may in a way distract from the equally excellent details found on the upper half of her dress, especially at the front, since it's partially blocked from view by the open book on her left hand. Not so much the back of her dress though, but it isn't much of an issue here as the back of the dress is pretty plain. The amazing details on the front of her dress begins with the fur-lined shawl cape wrap that's tied up with the string-like ribbon bow near her neck. And in addition to the elaborate white trimmings that add a fanciful design to her dress, there's also the pink bow tie shaped buttons that contribute to the dress overall cuteness. From this angle, you can catch a better glimpse of the front of Beatrice's dress, as well as that huge pink ribbon bow on the left side of her waist. Incidentally, you should also be able to view the front and back covers of the book she is holding, which looks like a hardcover leather binding with some illegible text as well as a butterfly logo design. Meanwhile, it was on the back of her dress that it dawned on me that Beatrice's dark pink dress actually has shading on it. The raised areas are in a lighter shade than the dark pinks of her dress, while the folds and creases were painted in an even darker pink. Yet more details are revealed through the exposed front of her dress that is striped tights alternating between purple and violet, ending in pink shoes with butterfly straps. The hems of her dress have fairly elaborate frills of white and light pink that stop off with two light pink and white ribbon bows at the front. Beatrice herself stands on a clear round base that's big enough to encompass those enormous frills on the hems of her dress. On the circumference of the base, there's a pink lace-like pattern interspersed with butterfly motifs. This imagery of a butterfly is also found on that huge ribbon bow on her waist. As to the hidden meaning behind Beatrice's butterfly motifs, there are some online theories, though I'm not sure how true they are. If any of you know the real theory, please do let me know in the comments below. One online theory links the butterfly imagery to the concept of death, rebirth, and immortality, while others link it to the butterfly effect, i.e. when the main protagonist Subaru modifies his past actions, they then drastically affect the future. Beatrice is a prime example of how good an Ichiban Kuji Prize figure can be. In terms of quality, design, and rarity, Banpresto's Ichiban Kuji figures are easily one of the highest grade prize figures on the aftermarket. First and foremost, Bandai has successfully recreated Beatrice in miniature form in every way. This is how she appears in the manga and anime adaptation, clad in her predominantly pink gothic lolita dress, trimmings, frills, accessories, and all. And having her hold what is presumably the Book of Wisdom in her hands, and one with such incredible details to boot, elevates this prize figure to even higher heights. The accessories on her unique gothic lolita dress are well sculpted and painted. From the metallic red and gold tiny crown on her head, all the way to the beautiful pink shoes with butterfly straps that she has on. One clear drawback from the front view, at least on my copy of Beatrice, was the less than perfect paint job on her tights, especially on her left leg, in which the stripes were not cleanly painted with the colours bleeding into each other, though this is only visible upon a close-up view and not from afar, to be fair. This less than ideal paint job extends to the end of Beatrice's curled pigtail. As mentioned earlier, the ends of her pigtails are in clear pink, while the rest of the hair is in solid yellow or pale blonde. The issue arises in the transition from the solid yellow color to clear pink. Here the paint job looked powdery. But the paint job issues are extremely minor in the grand scheme of things. While they do play a part in a final rating, it should not distract from the fact that this is an excellent figure. Moreover, other parts of the paint job were brilliantly executed, for example the shading on her dress. Beatrice rates highly in terms of shelf presence. She shines brightly via her color scheme and superb character details. And she stands at slightly more than 16 cm as measured from the bottom of her feet to the top of her tiny crown, which isn't short for an Ichiban Kuji figure when you consider Beatrice is one of the shortest characters in ReZero starting life in another world. The height of the figure is reasonably appropriate for the character considering the scale she sculpted in. Overall, Beatrice's pros far outweigh her cons. Beatrice was very nearly the first figure in my collection to get the S rank or special rating. Instead, I'm giving her the Diamond or A rank, which is still a great rating. Only her less than perfect paint job prevented her from achieving the special rating. As the best price figure in my collection thus far, it will take some doing for another figure from the same category to dethrone her. She is essential to any ReZero fans collection and a worthy addition in any collector's shelf. That's all for this unboxing and review video. Thanks for watching, and as always, be well and be happy.